Whether you are 45 and you finally made vice president and it still doesn't feel like enough, or you're 27 and you finally got the follower count you were chasing and it still didn't feel like much. I want to tell you something, no cap. That is not a coincidence. Every generation gets handed what I call a scoreboard. Somebody hands you a number and tells you that once you hit it, you'll finally know who you are. It defines you. For some of you, that number was a title or a salary or a house, the right zip code. For some of you, it's a number under a post. Different scoreboard, same promise. Here's what I want to tell you today. That promise was never going to deliver. Not because you didn't work hard enough, not because you haven't hit the number, but because the scoreboard was never built to answer the question you're actually asking. There's an old word for the thing. Both of these scoreboards were never built to measure. It's older than your job title and a lot older than your username. Today, we're talking about the mantle you already have. This is the Marc Little Show. I'm Marc Little. I am your host. I'm a lawyer. I'm a pastor. I'm a political commentator. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is the Marc Little Show. I'm Marc Little. I'm your host. I am a pastor, a lawyer, and a political commentator. Today, we're talking about real name versus username, the mantle you already have. Maybe you're a little older. You climbed the ladder that you were told to climb. You got the title. You got the income. Maybe even you got the house in the neighborhood that was supposed to mean you made it. And here's what nobody warned you about. You can hit every single one of those marks and still feel like you're standing outside your own life, waiting for the part where it finally feels like enough. That feeling is not ingratitude. It's not a sign that you don't appreciate what you built. It's actually information. It's telling you that the ladder that you climbed was never the thing you were looking for. A ladder measures how high you climbed. It was never built to tell you. Now, let me talk to some of you on the other end of that. Maybe you didn't inherit a ladder. Maybe what you inherited was a social media feed. And the feed doesn't grade you once a year at a performance review. No. The feed grades you constantly. Every post is a small referendum on whether you matter today. That's in some ways a harder trap to see a way out of, because at least a ladder has rungs you can point to and say, I'm here, I'm not there yet. But a social media feed just keeps scrolling. There's no rung. There's just the next post, and the next number. And the question of whether this one will finally be the one that makes you feel like enough. Here's what I want both of you to hear today. No matter which one of these scoreboards you've been standing on, you were both handed something and told it was who you are. And neither one was ever going to satisfy, because a scoreboard measures output. It was never built to measure your calling. You see, there's something that's already been given to you, something that was never supposed to be measured by a title or a number. There's an old word for it, and it's a lot older than either one of those scoreboards. It's called a mantle. And most of you have been wearing yours so loosely you didn't even know it was still on you. Today's episode is called Real Name versus Your Username. The mantle you already have. Stay with me. This is the Marc Little Show. I am Marc Little. I'm your host. I'm a pastor, lawyer, and a political commentator. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is the Marc Little Show. I am Marc Little. I'm your host. I'm a pastor, I'm a lawyer, and I am a political commentator. We're talking about the mantle you already have. I want to show you where that word actually comes from, because it's not just a nice turn of phrase. It's a real garment, and the story behind it tells you exactly what a calling is supposed to look like. So listen in. There is a moment in the Old Testament where a prophet named Elijah is nearing the end of his ministry. And God tells him to go find a man named Elisha. Sounds the same, but it's spelled differently. Elisha, E-L-I-S-H-A. And he told him, go hand his calling over to him. God says, go find a man named Elisha and hand your calling over to him. Elisha finds Elisha out in a field, plowing, doing ordinary work, and he throws his cloak over him. Get the picture? Some translations render that word cloak as mantle. And that's exactly where our phrase comes from. It wasn't a ceremonial robe. It was the working garment. Don't miss it. A prophet wore doing the actual job. Day in, day out. In the weather, in the field, wherever the work took him. Now later, when Elijah is taken up by God, and then he's gone, poof, in a chariot, gone. Elisha picks up that cloak off the ground. Now listen to what happens next. I'm going to read for you briefly 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 13 and 14. Please, if you have a Bible, read this brief message. Elisha then picked up Elisha's cloak that had fallen from him and went back and stood on the bank of the Jordan. That's the river. Then he took the cloak that had fallen from his mentor Elijah and struck the water with it. He struck the water with the cloak. Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah? He asked. When he struck the water, listen now, it divided to the right and to the left. And then he crossed over. You got to stay with me. This is meaningful for you. See, Elisha, he didn't hang the cloak up somewhere and admire it. Make it an altar. He didn't hang it up and admire it. He didn't take a picture with it. He picked it up and he used it immediately. Before he even had time to process what had just happened. His master, who just poof, the Lord took him up. He used it, and it worked. That's the whole principle in one image. A calling proves itself in use, not in possession. Don't miss it. This isn't the only place the Bible pictures it this way. There's a moment where King Saul grabs the prophet Samuel's robe as Samuel turns to walk away, and the robe tears in his hand. Samuel tells him right there on the spot that the kingdom has just been torn from him, the same way that robe tore. Another prophet, a man named Elijah, Aijah, tears his own brand new cloak into 12 pieces. He did it to announce that the kingdom is being torn away from Solomon's family line. 3 separate moments. One consistent pattern running through the whole Old Testament. Whoever's holding the garment is the one holding, oh my Lord, the authority. And that garment falling or tearing or being picked up by somebody else. That's how the scripture shows a calling changing hands. I want to bring this home because I don't think you can talk about picking up a mantle without me telling you about the day I picked up mine. In 1987, I was shot with a 12-gauge shotgun by an 18-year-old gang member at USC. I just graduated. It was an attempted murder. This young man, he needed to complete an initiation to get into the gang. And I happened to be the target that he just was assigned as I was walking by. From that shooting, I lost my right leg. I've walked on a prosthetic every day since. If you were with us for the transparent scar bearer episode, you already know that part of the story. Here's the part I haven't told you yet. After I recovered, and after I got to a place where I could actually believe that my life was worth living, I felt something rise up in me that I couldn't ignore. I started going into middle schools and to high schools to talk to kids about what happened to me and why they shouldn't join a gang. Talk to them about how gang life affects our community and the actual cost of it. Not the version they see, where somebody looks powerful for a moment, but the real cost. I started a program called Fight the Good Fight. I had no idea at the time that it would be the thing that launched me into public speaking, into the platform I still stand on today. I didn't pick that mantle up because I felt ready. I picked it up because it was sitting right there on the ground in front of me. And I understood somehow that if I didn't use it, nobody else would. That's the difference between a mantle and a metric. A metric has to be constantly re-earned, and it never actually settles. A mantle is given, and it's proven the moment you actually use it. Use it immediately. It was given to you. We're talking about the mantle you already have. And I want to close by telling you exactly what to do with what you've been walking through. You're carrying something, and you haven't been taught how to use it. You're already somebody, and you haven't been taught how to walk and talk like you are. First, stop grading yourself on somebody else's scoreboard. Whether that scoreboard is a title or a number under a post, it was never built to measure the thing you actually want measured. A ladder can't tell you if you're living out your calling. Neither can a feed. If you keep asking a scoreboard to answer a question it was never designed to answer, you're going to keep getting an answer that never satisfies, no matter how high that number climbs. Second, your calling was given to you. It wasn't earned, and it does not wait for you to feel ready. Elisha didn't wait until he felt qualified to strike that water. He picked the cloak up off the ground and used it immediately and asked, "Where are you, God?" I didn't feel ready to walk into a middle school on a prosthetic leg and sometimes even on crutches and tell a room full of teenagers the truth about gang violence. I did it anyway because the mantle doesn't ask your permission. It just asks whether you're going to pick it up. Third, proof is in the use, not in the applause. If you spent 20 years chasing a title that never quite felt like enough once you got it, maybe what's actually calling you is the thing you kept postponing because it never looked impressive enough on paper. And if you're younger and you've been building a life in front of an audience, maybe what's calling you is doing the real work quietly before you ever post about it and letting the work speak for itself instead of the caption. Fourth, and I want you to really hear this one. You have not missed it. Whether you're 45 and you're just now asking the real question underneath all that success, or you're young enough that you're asking it a lot earlier than most people ever do. The mantle is still sitting right there, waiting to be picked up. That was the whole point of that scene at the Jordan. It wasn't too late for Elisha. Standing at that riverbank, it's not too late for you either. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. You were never actually chasing the wrong thing. No. You were just measuring it with the wrong instrument. Whatever you're carrying, whatever you've been sitting on since before anybody ever handed you a title or you ever posted your first picture, that's the mantle. Stop waiting for a scoreboard to confirm it. Pick it up. Use it. That's how you'll know it was always yours. I am Marc Little. Until next time, don't wear your mantle loosely. Pick it up. Use it. It's your calling. It's your purpose. And when you walk in your purpose, what you've been called to do, it's effective immediately. God bless you. See you soon.